Chapter 14, Self-Confidence. Self-confidence is a feeling of trust in one's abilities, qualities, and judgments. Mike Piazza, a catcher for the New York Mets, said, "I'm telling you, dude, it's just a feeling in my hands. I can tell you if I'm going to have a good day or a bad day at the plate just by the feeling in my hands. It comes and goes. When it's there, I feel like all I have to do is drop the barrel of the bat on the ball, and boom." Even elite athletes can have self-doubt. However, they typically tend to hold the belief that they can still perform at high levels. There can be some struggle between feeling self-confident and recognizing weaknesses. We hear the term self-confidence a lot, but it's not very easy to define. Sports psychologists define self-confidence as the belief that you can successfully perform a desired behavior. Self-confidence was first viewed as both a disposition and as a state. But the latest theory in sport regarding self-confidence is a social cognitive construct that can be more trait-like or more state-like, depending on the temporal frame of reference being used. Trait self-confidence. Self-confidence may play a part in your personality and thus is very stable. This is also referred to as the degree of certainty in which individuals usually possess about their ability to succeed. State self-confidence. Confidence may be something that you feel today, and therefore it might be unstable. This is also referred to as the belief of certainty individuals possess at a particular moment about their ability to succeed. Confidence is affected by specific organizational culture, as well as by the general social-cultural forces surrounding the sport and exercise. We have what's known as a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is expecting something to happen, which actually helps cause it to happen. This phenomenon is common in both competitive sports and exercise programs. The negative self-fulfilling prophecy is a psychological barrier where the expectation of failure leads to actual failure. Negative self-fulfilling prophecy leads to a vicious cycle. The expectation of failure leads to actual failure, which lowers self-image and increases expectations of future failure, thus completing the cycle. Confidence is a critical determinant of performance. However, it will not overcome incompetence. There is an optimal level of self-confidence. Within this optimal level, the individual is so convinced that they will achieve their goals that they strive harder to do so. At the other end of this spectrum, there is a lack of confidence. This occurs when self-doubts create anxiety, break concentration, and cause indecisiveness. Many people have the physical skills to be successful, but they lack confidence in their ability to perform these skills under pressure. Self-doubts tend to undermine performance. There is also something called overconfidence or false confidence. This occurs when confidence is greater than our actual ability, which then causes you to prepare less than you need to perform well. Overconfident people are falsely confident, meaning that their confidence is greater than their abilities. Performance declines as they believe that they do not need to prepare or exert to complete a job or task. You cannot be overconfident, however, if your confidence is based on actual skill and ability. The inverted U model illustrates the confidence-performance relationship. The highest point is skewed towards the right. Performance improves as the level of confidence increases, up to an optimal point, whereupon further increases in confidence produce corresponding decrements in performance. People strive for an individual optimal confidence level, but sometimes become either overconfident or underconfident. Underconfident is more common. Expectations and performance. In recent research, the relationship between expectations and performance were examined. In nearly all contests, the objectively weaker subject, or the one who both subjects believed was stronger, won the competition. It appears that the most important factor in winning was not actually physical strength, but who the competitors expected to win. So what are our self-expectations? These are positive expectations for success. which have been shown to produce positive effects in many realms of life, including sport. Expecting to beat a tough opponent or successfully perform a difficult skill can produce exceptional performances as psychological barriers are overcome. We also have coach expectations. This is the teacher or coach's expectations, which can alter the feelings and performance of the individual. Your expectations of others affects not only your own behavior, but also the feeling and behavior of others. Self-efficacy is the perception of one's ability to perform a task successfully. This is really a situation-specific form of self-confidence. We use the terms self-efficacy and self-confidence interchangeably. Self-efficacy is the perception of one's ability to perform a task successfully. This is a situation-specific form of self-confidence. It also centers more on personal motivators of performance than does self-confidence. Remember, self-confidence is the belief that you can perform a desired behavior. Bandura's theory of self-efficacy. Psychologist Albert Bandura has defined self-efficacy as one's beliefs in one's ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplish a task. One's sense of self-efficacy can play a major role in how one approaches goals, tasks, and challenges. This is the belief in one's capabilities to organize and execute the course of action required to produce given attainments, especially when one has the required skill and motivations. This includes the affects and choice of activities, level of effort, and persistence of the individual. Bandura and Wood in 1989 suggested that individuals with high self-efficacy will focus on assessing a problem and finding solutions, while those who lack self-efficacy concentrate on their own deficits and become so preoccupied that they cannot devote the necessary attention and skill to the task at hand. An individual's self-efficacy is not the same across all situations. For instance, one person may have strong self-efficacy with regard to playing tennis, but low self-efficacy with regard to solving algebra equations. In addition, self-efficacy in a particular area can be developed or changed, affecting behavior and performance. Bandura provides the following principles for obtaining and influencing self-efficacy beliefs. Enacting mastery experiences that provide feedback on learners' own capabilities. Vicarious experiences that provide comparative information about the attainments of others. Verbal persuasion, which provides the learner with information about what others believe they are capable of doing. And psychological states and internal feelings, by which the learner judges their ability to engage in the task at hand. Successful performance. Self-efficacy is developed from experiencing success in order for self-efficacy to develop. With difficult tasks, this is unrealistic, so we must reduce the difficulty at first. Vicarious experiences. Self-efficacy is developed through the use of models. For example, participatory modeling. The learner first observes a model perform a task, and then the instructor assists the person in successful performance of said task. Verbal persuasion. Self-efficacy is developed from verbal statements that suggest the athlete is competent and can succeed. Positive verbal persuasion is best, especially combined with instruction. This may be a form of positive self-talk. And lastly, emotional arousal. Self-efficacy develops from being emotionally and psychologically aroused in order to be attentive. The efficacy of this model is well documented. Self-efficacy theory provides a model for studying the effects of self-confidence on sport performance, persistence, and behavior. Self-efficacy, or confidence as it's commonly known, is one of the most enabling psychological models to have been adopted into positive psychology. It is the optimistic self-belief in our competence, or chances of successfully accomplishing a task and producing a favorable outcome. Self-efficacy plays a major part in determining our chances for success. In fact, some psychologists rate self-efficacy above talent in the recipe for success. We need to pay special attention to self-efficacy when setting goals to make sure that our efficacy beliefs are in line with our aims and not working against them. Perceived self-efficacy is a strong and consistent predictor of athletic performance. High self-efficacy people persist in the task longer and achieve at a higher level. Efficacy is highly related to motivation and influenced by perceived outcomes. Some evidence suggests that situation-specific self-efficacy generalizes to other situations and global self-confidence. There is also a collective self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is not limited to the individual. Groups may also exhibit collective self-efficacy and can have high or low self-efficacy together. The social cognitive theory proposes that personal, behavior, and environmental factors operate as reciprocal interacting determinants of each other. The social cognitive theory, or SCT, is used in psychology, education, and communication. It holds that portions of an individual's knowledge acquisition can be directly related to observing others within the context of social interactions, experience, and outside media influences. The theory states that when people observe a model performing a behavior and the consequence of that behavior, they remember the sequence of events and use this information to guide subsequent behaviors. Observing a model can also prompt the viewer to engage in behavior they have already learned. In other words, people do not learn new behaviors solely by trying them and either succeeding or failing. Rather, the survival of humanity is dependent upon the replication of the actions of others. Depending on whether people are rewarded or punished for their behavior and the outcome of that behavior, the observer may choose to replicate the behavior modeled. Media provides models for a vast array of people and many different environmental settings. The critical components are personal agency and personal control. For self-efficacy to develop, we have to believe that we are in control, and any act we commit was performed intentionally. Basically, if we believe we can influence a good outcome, we won't be afraid to get in the game. The end result is self-efficacy. With self-efficacy, we are motivated. With this, we are motivated to work hard to ensure success because we believe we can succeed. Even if failure or less success occurs, we handle it better. This is a review of Harter's competence motivation theory. This is a theory of achievement motivation based on a person's feelings of personal competence. According to the theory competence, motivation increases when a person successfully masters a task. This encourages the person to master more tasks. The theory has been used to explain differences in sport. The theory is based on the assumption that humans have an innate motivation to be competent, and that feelings of competence are the primary determinant of motivation. Competence is the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. Perception of competence is linked to one's affective state. Positive feelings or positive affect follow success in mastery attempts, whereas negative feelings or negative affect follow lack of success. Perceived competence is a predictor of cognitive, affective, and behavioral outcomes. According to the theory, motivation is influenced indirectly by feelings of control, competence, and self-worth. Difficult but realistic goals provide the greatest positive feelings and intrinsic motivation for the individual. Successful mastery attempts promote self-efficacy and feelings of personal competence, and this leads to higher motivation. There are 4 elements for developing self-efficacy. 1 is a successful performance. Performance accomplishments, particularly clear success or failure, provide the most dependable foundation for self-efficacy judgments because they are based on one's mastery of experiences. If experiences are generally positive, the level of self-efficacy will rise. Repeated failures result in expectations of lowered efficacy. Number 2, vicarious experience. Another name for this is demonstration or modeling. This can help individuals learn a new skill that provides efficacy information for performers who lack experience with the task and rely on others to judge their own capabilities. Even if people attend to demonstrated physical skills and remember how to do them, they still may not be able to perform the skills if they have not learned the motor reproduction. The final stage in the modeling process is motivation, which affects all other stages. Motivation allows the participant to attend to the model, try to remember what was seen, and then practice the skill. Number 3, verbal persuasion. Verbally telling participants, giving encouragement, or giving instructions. Verbal persuasion for enhancing confidence can take the form of self-persuasion. This can also occur in the form of self-talk. And number 4, emotional arousal. Emotional experiences are not simply the product of physiological arousal. Emotions or moods can be additional courses of information about self-efficacy. Positive emotional states such as happiness, exhilaration, and tranquility are more likely to enhance the efficacy judgments than are negative emotional states such as sadness, anxiety, and depression. Many people believe that you either have confidence or you don't, but confidence can be built. Ensure performance accomplishments. Successful behavior increases confidence and leads to further successful behavior. Performance accomplishments are the most powerful way to build confidence. Manipulate or create situations that allow participants to succeed and have a sense of accomplishment. Act confidently. Thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interrelated. The more confident an individual acts, the more likely they are to feel confident. Think confidently. Confidence consists of thinking that you can and will achieve your goals. This is a lot of positive self-talk. Use imagery. Imagery can help to build confidence. You can see yourself doing things that you either have never done before or that you've had difficulty doing. And lastly, prepare. A plan gives you confidence because you know what you're going to do. Many athletes enter competition without a strategy, but there should always be a plan of attack. As a side note, another topic related to confidence: psychological momentum. This is the positive or negative change in cognition, affect, physiology, and behavior that's caused by an event or a series of events that affects either the perceptions of the competitors or perhaps the quality of performance and the outcome of the competition. Positive momentum is associated with periods of competition, such as a winning streak, in which everything seems to go right for the competitors. In contrast, negative momentum is associated with periods, such as a losing streak, when everything seems to just go wrong. Psychological momentum affects either the perception of the competitors or perhaps the quality of performance and the outcome of the competition. This is either a positive or a negative change in cognition, affect, physiology, and behavior. This is caused by an event or series of events that will shift performance and our outcomes.